2025 Tour de France, stage 15, and it's Belgian champion Tim Wellens pulling off a solo victory here in Carcassonne, one of the classic stops of the Tour de France. I think Mark Cavendish broke a record right out here on the same streets. Well, today at the end of 169 kilometers with a couple of climbs, actually 3 climbs along the way, Wellens was able to make his move. 43 kilometers to go, launching solo. Teammate of Tadej Pogačar, the race leader who has been dominating the Tour de France. Well, it's Wellens who gets a bit of success. Raises his arm in victory. Not often does he do that. His last big win, at least in my opinion, besides the Tour of Guangxi and the Vuelta a España stages, well, he picked up the Belgian championships in a similar style, racing away solo with 40 kilometers to go. Here topping that by 3 more kilometers, 43 kilometers out. And it was at the end of a hard day of racing. Let's look back at the start because it was crazy. Also the report of Florian Lipowitz, 3rd place overall after Remco Evenepoel abandoned in yesterday's stage, and white jersey wearer, the German of Team Red Bull, Bora Hansgrohe. Well, he crashed. There was a bottleneck section. He hit the deck and got back up. Looks to be okay, but you never know with these crashes. He'll have the rest day to rest up, but then it's back into action for stage 16, Mont Ventoux. We wish Florian the best, but that goes to show you never know in the Tour de France. Now up the road, we had this group that was a danger group, especially if you're riding in Team Lidl Trek. Now, I want to build this around Quinn Simmons today because we spoke to him this morning, and after the stage, I worked up a sweat running down to the bus there. Probably didn't need to do those threshold runs this morning. Logged on Strava, you can check those out if you want. This morning, we likened him to a caged tiger, whether or not he'd be let out of the cage to go for his shot. Because in the team is Jonathan Milan, the big man in green, holds the green points jersey, and the team needs to rally around Milan for those intermediate sprint points. And Quinn was on double duty. He said, you know, the team didn't come here with enough strong riders to hold these intermediate sprints and the sprints together. Thibaut Nice, for example, doesn't have the power, the engine to do so, so they have to call on Quinn Simmons. But the thing is, Quinn Simmons is their other best chance of a stage win in the Tour de France, especially after Mathieu Skilmos abandoned due to a crash in yesterday's Tourmalet stage. Simmons was on duty because up the road was an escape with Van Aert, with Van der Poel, some heavy hitters in this bunch up front, and enough of the riders to sweep up all the green jersey points if they couldn't pull it back. Quinn Simmons did the work. Other Lidl Trek riders, they couldn't pull it back. Van der Poel, himself a threat in the green jersey competition, along with Tadej Pogačar, got the points at the sprint, along with the rest of the group. Milan, he was out of luck. And after that, well, Quinn Simmons was let off the leash to attack. An attack he did. He was able to bridge up to that group with Tim Wellens, who would eventually be the stage winner. Riders were being blown apart left and right. We had these 2 Cat 3 climbs and then the Cat 2 climb that didn't really top out at the top of the Cat 2 climb. It was Storer who was on the attack, and it was Quinn Simmons with him. Again, like the stage when Ben Healy won, it was Storer and Simmons back there fighting, trying to hold supremacy, but Storer was picking up the points. Simmons was right there. They were coming back together, attacking, and then shortly after that, Wellens goes free. It's an amazing ride, especially in that Belgian National Championship jersey. A rider who's often employed for team captains, able to get his chance to shine, especially in a team where they're trying to pull off the Tour de France victory and they need to protect Tadej all the way to Paris if he's going to have a shot at that 4th title. Simmons didn't back off, neither did Victor Campenaerts, who was also in that move. I should mention Nilsen Palace, who had some American muscle in that move. He was up there as well. He was on the attack during the day, but it was Victor Campenaerts who shot up the road. And we could see before Wellens attacked, Simmons and Wellens were having a bit of discussion, and at the bus, it was worth the effort to run down there for Quinn Simmons. Simmons explained Wellens was not doing any work in the group, and then he picks his moment to attack. He says, I don't know if that's right or not, but apparently it is because he's the one who pulls off victory. Quinn, well, he goes on the attack, attacks a 15K out, attacks a 5K out. All that comes to nothing. But man, he looked the strongest out there today and in the past days as well. Always on the hunt, always visible in that U.S. National Championship jersey. but always falling short. Something's gonna have to change. He's gonna need to rest up and try again in this third of 3 phases in this 2025 Tour de France, but you can see he's not really grooving well with the team tactics there, because he mentioned again at the bus that it was a team decision and there were some differences in opinion as to what the team should do. He mentioned that this morning and at the finish, so read into that what you will. But Simmons made the best out of it on the day that was dominated by Tim Wellens. And as so often is in cycling these days, once that rider gets free up front, it's hard to pull him back. In fact, Simmons commented on that, said, well, these motos need to be watched, indicating that the motorbikes are following too close to these lead riders, or even the chase at times, depending on how close they are and how much of a draft they're given, that they need to keep their distance so we get the riders doing the pacing and not the motorbikes helping them. And if the motorbikes are there, the riders will rightly so take advantage. Now behind, it was interesting, Campenarts was free. He ends up picking up second place. Julian Alaphilippe sprinted in, threw his arms up. I think he thought he had the stage victory. Julian, how could you not know that up the road was Tim Wellens pulling off stage victory in Carcassonne at the end of the second week of racing, and everyone's tired, the legs, but also the minds. The riders need a rest day. We're gonna retool, rest, and then head into the Mont Ventoux, right back into action. After Ventoux, we have the Alps with the Col de la Loze, racing on towards Paris. Can Vingegaard take on Tadej? Well, we don't know. Let me know down in the comments. Also, let me know what you think about Quinn Simmons, if he should be given more support by Lidl Trek, who frankly might not win that green jersey, because today what happened? Well, it's Van der Poel taking away points, as Poggi is getting points, and likely that fight is going to go to Pogacar when we get to Paris, and the green jersey, maybe even the mountains jersey as well. Tim Wellens on top in Carcassonne, Tour de France 2025, stage 15.